As we continue covering tonight's events, former President Donald Trump addresses an electrified crowd at Madison Square Garden in New York City. The turnout is overwhelming, with thousands filling the arena to capacity. Supporters wave signs, chant slogans, and respond enthusiastically to Trump's remarks. This rally, a part of his 2024 presidential campaign, is being held in one of America's most iconic venues, a fact Trump has eagerly acknowledged throughout the evening. This event comes at a pivotal time in the 2024 election cycle as both major political parties ramp up their outreach to voters. Trump's speech tonight is not only about reaffirming his policies, but also about underscoring the ideological differences between his platform and that of his political rivals. According to his campaign staff, Madison Square Garden was chosen for its significance as a gathering place for major cultural and sporting events. Intended to reflect Trump's enduring popularity and resilience, despite the challenges he's faced since leaving office. Tone of the speech. This evening, Trump's tone has taken a dark, intense turn, with a language that many in attendance in the press corps have described as among the most intense of his current campaign. Trump leans into his well-known style, marked by vivid language, emphatic gestures, and a cadence designed to stoke the emotions of his audience. Reporters present at the rally note that his language is noticeably more aggressive, with statements that amplify fears around issues like immigration and national security. Tonight's rhetoric has centered on a narrative of an America under threat from outside forces, as he frames it, underscoring his promises to restore order. This appeal is nothing new for the former president, as his initial campaign in 2016 similarly leaned on themes of national pride, border security, and economic protectionism. Trump's speech tonight is a calculated return to those core talking points, and he has effectively tailored these messages to resonate with his 2024 base. Immigration as a key focus. At the heart of his speech tonight is immigration, an issue that Trump has returned to repeatedly throughout his political career. He paints a stark picture of the United States as a nation inundated with challenges at its southern border, criticizing current policies and insisting that strict immigration controls are essential to national security. This approach, central to his 2016 campaign, continues to be a focal point for Trump. He has referred to immigrants in charged terms, which has drawn mixed reactions, with his supporters in the arena expressing their approval through cheers and applause. Trump's emphasis on this issue reflects the pressure that immigration policy places on the political landscape, especially as states across the country contend with an influx of asylum seekers and migrants. He argues that the current administration's immigration policies have led to an untenable situation, portraying himself as the leader who will bring back order. It's clear he believes these messages will resonate deeply with his base and drive voter turnout. His language tonight reflects that urgency, painting a future under his leadership as one in which the law is upheld and the border protected. His opponents, he asserts, are failing the American people. Melania Trump's rare appearance. A rare moment in tonight's rally was the appearance of former First Lady Melania Trump, who briefly addressed the crowd. Melania has been notably absent from the campaign trail this cycle, attending few events and speaking at even fewer. Tonight's rally, then, marked a significant moment as she took the stage, delivering a short message that centered on family and faith. Her presence tonight was met with considerable enthusiasm, with supporters cheering as she spoke. For many, her speech was a reminder of her role as a quieter, more reserved figure in Trump's political life. Melania's reemergence at this event may signal the campaign's intent to project unity and strength, especially among Trump's closest supporters. While her remarks were brief, her presence on the stage at such a prominent event underlines the family dynamic that Trump often promotes as central to his public image. The Trump family's involvement in politics has always been a part of his appeal to his base, and tonight, that aspect of his campaign was on full display. Personal attacks on political opponents. In addition to policy, Trump has dedicated a considerable portion of his speech to disparaging those who have criticized him in recent months. He has singled out former military officials, such as General John Kelly and General Mark Milley, labeling them as weak and incompetent. These remarks come after Kelly and Milley publicly criticized Trump's leadership style and expressed concerns over what they describe as his authoritarian tendencies. Trump, true to form, has responded by launching personal attacks on both men, accusing them of betrayal and attempting to undermine his legacy. These attacks highlight the growing rift within conservative ranks, as some former allies have distanced themselves from Trump, openly questioning his fitness for office. Trump's supporters, however, appear undeterred. They view these former officials as part of an establishment attempting to sabotage Trump's campaign. The crowd tonight has repeatedly applauded as Trump criticized these figures, interpreting his words as an affirmation of his outsider status in defiance against the Washington elite. Response from the Harris campaign across the country. Vice President Kamala Harris and her team are closely monitoring tonight's rally. Harris has encouraged Americans to pay attention to Trump's speeches, believing they reveal his divisive, fear-based approach to politics. Her campaign has responded to Trump's remarks by emphasizing a commitment to unity, underscoring that her platform is rooted in addressing Americans' real concerns rather than stoking fear. Harris often points to Trump's rhetoric as an example of the dangers of electing a leader who, in her view, prioritizes division over collaboration. Harris's response to Trump's attacks on immigration has been nuanced, as she balances calls for increased border security with an emphasis on humane treatment of migrants and a pathway to citizenship for undocumented residents. She has taken a cautious but firm stance, aiming to satisfy both progressive and moderate factions within her party. Her campaign sees Trump's remarks tonight as an opportunity to draw clear distinctions, appealing to Americans who may feel uneasy about the divisive tone of Trump's rhetoric. In a recent speech, Harris highlighted the stakes of the upcoming election, warning of the consequences of electing a leader focused on reviving the politics of fear. She contrasts Trump's approach with her own vision, focused on economic inclusion, healthcare, and climate initiatives. Her campaign is targeting moderate voters who may be concerned by Trump's inflammatory language, hoping to draw them into a big tent coalition in support of her and President Biden's vision for the nation. Trump's broader strategy and its impact on the 2024 election. Trump's strategy tonight is unmistakably clear. He is doubling down on the issues and rhetoric that first propelled him to the presidency in 2016. By framing himself as the only candidate willing to tackle real threats, Trump appeals to a segment of the electorate that feels neglected by mainstream politics. This strategy, however, also risks alienating undecided voters who may view his remarks as excessively divisive. Political analysts are closely watching to see whether his base will be enough to carry him to victory, or if this rhetoric could ultimately cost him support among independents and moderates. Tonight's rally underscores a larger trend within the campaign: Trump's desire to position himself as a champion of ordinary Americans, who he claims are under siege by radical forces within the government and media. His speeches serve to rally his base around a vision of America rooted in traditional values and a strong stance on national security. Whether this approach will expand his appeal beyond his core supporters remains to be seen. Closing remarks in the path ahead. As the rally comes to a close, Trump's message has been one of defiance, resilience, and a promise to restore what he describes as the American way of life. The crowd responds with enthusiasm, erupting into applause as he makes his final appeals. For his supporters, tonight's event has reinforced their commitment to his campaign. For his opponents, it serves as a stark reminder of the divisions within the American political landscape. As both campaigns prepare for the closing weeks of the election, tonight's rally marks a significant moment in the 2024 campaign trail, signaling the tone and strategy Trump will likely maintain as he pushes toward November. Both sides are gearing up for an intense final stretch, aware that the stakes have rarely felt higher for the future direction of the country.